Hey guys, and in this video I'll be explaining this confusing FNCS format and the new change that has been added to it, as well as the recap of both EU and NA FNCS finals and what teams need to qualify to semis. So there has been a new change to this FNCS format. If you didn't know, for this season, it's not very a big change, but it's a pretty small change. So if you didn't know, I'll recap the entire format in a quick and easy way. So in order to qualify the semis, there are two open weeks of FNCS that have 4 rounds each. Anyone can play in the first round. It's open as long as you're ranked platinum or higher. So in the first round, you have 10 games to try to get top 2,000 to qualify to round 2. This is usually the hardest round to qual because there are more than 100,000 people playing this tournament and only 2,000 qual. So it's actually pretty hard to qual out of round 1. And that's what I think needs to change. And then to qualify to round 3, you need to you have 10 games and need to get top 1,000. And then it's actually not that hard because it only cuts down 50%. All you need is a really good game and a decent game to qualify. Now to qualify to round 4, it's been changed. It used to be 250, but now it's 50. So it's a set lobby this time, and now it's way more intense, but also way harder to qualify. There are only 6 rounds of these set lobbies, and no one's really going to qual. No one's really trying to qualify to the next round since it's the last round, and everyone's just trying to get as high of a final placement as they can, because the more placement you get, the more series points you get. So a 5th place on the leaderboard will get you more series points than a 10th place. So, and to qualify to semifinals, top 250 teams with the highest series points qualify. So I'm sorry I can't really explain it that well. It's pretty confusing, but I will try recapping everything after we know the teams going into semifinals next week. So now before we recap the NA and EU finals, I will show you important teams that have not done too well on NA only. So Peterborough and Poyo didn't really get to round 4. They got to round 3 and got 70th, but they got really close. Since top 50 qualified, they couldn't get top 50, and they really struggle on these open rounds. I've seen their game stats, and they play every single game, and they go down off spawn at least 7 of them. So they only have 3 to 2 games to play, and they need to play really high. So I saw their stats, and they got a 30 kill win, and then they got a 20 other second, and every other game they died pretty early. So another team, Cypher PK and Asian Jeff, were actually popping off recently in the dual cash cups, almost calling to both of them, but did not actually qualify to this finals. Mongrel and Mr. Savage also have been going crazy, but they were actually really close to qualify. They were also 80th or 90th, so only 40 placements. So maybe if they got one more good game, they could have qualified. So now onto the EU finals round 4 recap. First place was Marin and Cade. I don't really know a lot about this team, but they did play really well in each of their game, very consistent. And second place, also another underrated duo that I have no idea how to pronounce his duo's name, so it's Artist and whoever his duo is, but huge shout out to them. Third place, iDrop and Chris. They've been pretty low-key this entire season, even last season, and now they're popping off. Trulix and Chicho in 4th. And 5th place was Chapentini, not having the best day, and only had 2 good games, and they went down early off spawn in the other ones, since they are contested. Other teams that played in the finals that were Malibuk and Merstash, and 6th place is actually crazy because they were actually contested by Vaniac and Swazi, the Major 2 champions. And Vaniac and Swazi actually got 12th. So they both actually did really good while being contested. And they got, it was a tie between the spawn fight, 3-3. So both teams only had 3 games to play because they went down early in the other ones. So with 3 games and getting 6th and a 12th is actually very crazy. Obviously, Malabuk and Mustache were more consistent because they placed higher. And so Nebs and Kidduo in 13th, Marius and Sangild in 15th, playing really well. I've seen them getting to way more end games than before, but dying early in a few games. Vico and Flixie in 19th. Vico's doing pretty well even after they split with Pink, but last season they won both. Vico and Pink won both finals in both weeks, but they didn't really place really well in grands. So we'll see. These placements are not actually final, but final and set for grands, but anything can happen. So we'll see. Giannis and Pixie doing really well in the first few games, being pretty consistent, but could not really keep it up in the last 3 games and got 33rd. Noah Riley and Aqua in 40th. This is really surprising. Aqua is back for the season since he didn't play last season because he has a problem in his arm, so he can't really keep playing and being dedicated to the game. But it's still crazy how good Aqua is even after not being able to play consistently. I am extremely excited for this duo. I mean, they've basically been a duo for a while now. Okay, so on to NA. Clix and Vino win NAF and CS finals with 3 out of 6 wins, so very dominant win. They did not start the season off too well. They've qualified to every dual Cash Cup, but they have gone like 20th in each of them. But now they're looking really good to actually win FNCS. We'll see. Second place, Blaha and Mixon, doing pretty good. Mixon split with Paco last season, and Mixon's doing better now with Blaha. Third place was Noxie and Crisp. Fourth place, Iamzo and Tayson, playing really well. In last Dual Cash Cup they won, and now they get a top 5. So Iamzo's also looking for his first FNCS win, so we'll see. Maybe none of them even get it. Maybe Clix doesn't get it. Maybe Iamzo doesn't get it. So we'll see. But both of these teams are looking really good. At least to qualify to land. I think it should be pretty good, easy for them to qualify with these placements. Fifth place was Batman, Booga, and Rapid. Really good team. And now the other teams that placed in the finals were Aviv and Booga in 6th. Really good team now that they're back. Pink and Mero in 7th. They've actually locked in now, and Mero's actually grinding scrims, so that's very impressive. Because Mero's not really a type of guy who's playing scrims and stuff, but now Pink has actually made him play scrims. Really helpful. Victor V and Paper in 8th. Such an underrated duo. Baka and Pars in 9th. Acorn and Cold in 11th. Bucky and Okus doing very well for their recent standards in 18th. They've actually qualified to land last season, but they haven't even qualified to grand finals in the past 2 seasons. So this is really good for their standards. Agers and Rise in 23rd. Muzz and Trashy in 24th. Ritual in 25th. Not really expecting them to be this far down, but either way, they still did end up qualifying. And Alex and Worthy contested Cease off spawn and got a 35th, but still pretty good, even coming from a very small region Oceania, and qualifying to this top 50 finals is still pretty good. So now I'm going to be talking about what these teams actually need, like Peterbomb, Pollo, Cypher PK, and a lot of these other teams that you like, Mongrel, Mr. Savage, and other teams. So it's about series points. So Peterbomb, Pollo, and Mongrel, Mr. Savage, I know these two for a fact. They've actually already qualified to semifinals, but they're going to be in lower bracket. There's two brackets. There's an upper bracket and a lower bracket. Upper bracket is only top 50, and lower bracket is the rest top 200. The rest 200 teams. So to qualify to lower bracket, I think you just need a top around like a 1/40th in one of the weeks, or you can get you can do pretty good in the first week and then not do as well in the second week, but you'll still qualify. But I don't know what Cypher PK and Asian Jeff got. You can look that up and see what they got, what placements they got, and then you can see if they got top 140th. If not, they're actually gonna have to get another good placement, at least get round 3. Alright, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.